Good evening, my amigos. Welcome to my lair. I am Madam of the Night. I hope you will enjoy tonight's story. This is my very first time creating content and becoming a narrator for my YouTube channel, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I was always told I have a nice voice, and as a child, I would always tell scary stories to my little cousins before they went to bed, and they loved it. As the years progressed, this is something I've always wanted to do. I just needed a platform to be heard, so here I am. I will recite creepypastas mostly, maybe some true stories, or even tell some of my own experiences, so buckle up. Please subscribe and hit that like button so I can get as much support and a tremendous amount of views. Hopefully. Thank you, friends, for listening, and I hope you will enjoy the channel. If we release something that tortures me to death, I swear I'm coming back and I'm haunting the crap out of you. James threw his head back and cackled. I thought you didn't believe in this crap, man. A chill settled into my stomach. I don't. Really, it's just... I looked around the darkened room, watching the shadows dance with the flickering candle. It's just that you're 24 years old and have no justifiable explanation for the tiny urine splash in your underwear. Am I right? He teased. Blow off, I retorted, slamming my hands onto the planchette. I looked at the letters splayed out before me, then up at Luke, who was on the other side of the table. He stared back, one eyebrow raised. Okay, he answered, placing his own fingertips on the opposite side. Let's see what happens when we play with a Ouija board. I asked aloud, is anyone listening? At first, nothing happened. I had opened my mouth to say how stupid the whole idea was when the planchette moved softly. Are you? James asked, his face slack. I shook my head as the planchette stopped at the letter I. I wasn't the one to halt its progress, but I felt the change in force. James' face reflected the dread running through me. I felt empty, like the energy was being siphoned through my fingertips and into the board. He stared at the roving pointer, mouth agape, nearly drooling. I am Evie? Yo, this isn't funny, Luke, James whispered. Eve's been dead, what? A week? I blinked in an attempt to hide my tear. Yeah, I gasped. 1 week tomorrow. It wasn't an accident. We can't write down the letters and hold it at the same time, Luke. What did you... She says it wasn't an accident. I snapped. Shut up and let me focus. The planchette continued to move with the same slow, deliberate energy of a story waiting to unfold. Mike forced my car off the road? I wanted to lurch, to gasp for air until my head felt normal again, to stop my brain from spinning like the time I took 6 shots of tequila before talking to Evie and puking on her shoes. The mystic connection severed after the final letter. I jumped back like I've been electrocuted, standing up, grabbing my hair with both hands, reeling. That freaking monster, I hissed. That piece of crap monster. Luke, James asked, tentative. The board is upside down from my perspective. I mean, I couldn't really. That worthless boyfriend of hers. He killed her. I knew. I always knew. James placed a gentle hand on my shoulder, which I immediately shrugged away. I looked directly at James, who stared back with a vacant gaze that I wanted to smack off his face. Everything I believed about Mike is true. I was the only one who saw it, and now it's too late. I couldn't tell if it was sunny or overcast at Evie's funeral because I never lifted my eyes high enough to see the sky. You look like the dead one. James' joke fell flat at my feet as I stared through him. To be fair, there's no good way to break the silence when mourners gather outside church doors following a funeral. I stood on the curb, seeing but not feeling traffic rush past a few inches from me. I can't believe that monster actually showed up. I seethed quietly while staring at Mike as he hugged each member of Evie's family. He was playing them, just as effectively as he controlled his girlfriend. They all believed his crocodile tears. Easy, man, James whispered. Hey, a funeral would be a bad place to go violent. You didn't, bring a gun or anything, did you? He tried to mask the concern in his voice with a poorly disguised jocular tone. No, I responded. Just me. Relief spread across his face. Good. Because, man, look, I'm broken up about Evie's car accident, too. I'm sorry. I really am. He threw an arm around my shoulders and pulled me close. But we worked with her for, 2 years? You pinned for her every day, and you never asked her out. This is your chance to move on, bud. He squeezed the back of my neck. Trust me, you were never anything more to Evie than a casual friend. You're better off putting her behind you. I pivoted my head to meet his uneasy gaze. You're right, James. You're completely right. He smiled anxiously and dropped his arm. I should have been something more. James crinkled his brow. I turned and made a beeline for Evie's red-eyed father. No parent should have to bury their child. The thought inflamed my blood and sent resolve flowing through my veins. His gaze met mine as I moved directly towards him. I never met the man, but he opened his arms to greet me like an old friend. He was hurting badly. He needed consolation. I was going to give that consolation. I turned away from him at the last second and stepped towards Mike, the worthless boyfriend to God's most perfect angel. He recognized me. Good. Mike spread his arms for a hug, which made it that much easier to push him. The 1913 bus was shooting down Crestwell Avenue right on time, doing at least 40 as it barreled toward the green light. My timing was impeccable. I was able to enjoy half a second of dawning realization in Mike's eyes as he pitched backward and disappeared beneath the wheels of the bus. It happened so quickly that the bus had already passed before the first person screamed. Soon, everyone was screaming, with good reason too. Movies always leave out the aftermath of an auto accident. Mike's torso had been squished open. Several destroyed organs had slipped off and smeared across the asphalt. The most noticeable, which were his intestines, they spread out like a mess of angel hair pasta and mushroom marinara. The large intestine had burst, and a line of feces was squirting from the broken part like an exploded toothpaste tube. His right hand was smashed paper thin like a cartoon. The left leg had bent unnaturally, with his foot pressing against his ear. He looked up with genuine confusion, eyes unable to focus. The lack of mental clarity likely came from the fact that his brain was now dripping down the side of his face like an ice cream melting in the hot, hot sun. A chorus of vomit erupted from all angles as a woman ran to the street, screaming, My son! What did you do to my son?" She promptly slipped in his feces and hit her head on the asphalt with a sickening crack. "Holy crap, Luke! It was a joke!" I turned around to see James, tears streaming down his face, eyes glued to what was left of Mike and his mother. The Ouija board thing was a joke. I was moving the planchette. Mike was a good guy. You freaking psycho. Wow, what a story. I guess the lesson would be, you never know who your friends really are. What a cruel joke, don't you think? I had to change some of the wording because I wasn't sure what YouTube allows as far as profanity goes, so I figure I play it safe. I hope you enjoyed the tale. It's one of my faves, and I will promise to give you some more juicy stories from my lair. Please subscribe and hit that like button, and I will see you ghouls soon. You never know what goes bump in the night.